Right, you know how like talking, right? We're live. We're not live, but you can't how talking about shit is like illegal to some folks. So yeah,
Yes, it
is just better before I talk to you. I better ask: is it all right to talk to you?
Yes, it's alright to talk to me.
Let me see the back of your thing.
The back of my jumper.
Ah, expensive talks back, right? So it's all right to talk. Ken, you're my sanity. Ken, I actually talk to you, didn't you? It's all right to speak, innit?
It's alright.
It's fucking no a crime, innit?
normal to
Yeah,
open your mouth and let your belly rumble.
yeah. Even if you open your mouth and you fart, it doesn't matter.
This is it.
Doesn't matter.
It's still
It's still-
communication.
Aye,
But
aye,
you're letting us know you're alive and that your
Yeah.
system's kicking in. So
aye.
you may have been dormant for a while because you've been sleeping, you know, but
Aye.
then you wake up, have a fart, and everything starts working again.
That's it. Right. So Ken, how you're like multi-talented,
Aye, man.
right? Ken, how you're modest as well.
Aye, man.
So, right, see this, right? So, it's yours. That's fucking shite. I could do better than
Oh, is it?
that.
It's not even finished. And
You weren't
it's-
even making that much effort, were you?
No, to be fair, I wasn't. By this point, I was just transferring it onto furniture.
Yeah.
So I'd already done the female. The female has like flowers around her head and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
She's on one side of the shelf.
She looks quite.
And
So this is a male.
yeah, this is
so I
this
was
is the
gonna
male.
say.
So there was going to be the male at one side and the female at the other side
Right.
to symbolise myself.
Uh-huh. What, the masculine and feminine elements or something like that?
Well, if you like, yeah, but I mean, it's all up for interpretation, really. I was just
Yeah.
thinking about
Do I hold that up so I
it's
can.
grandmother's wiggly worm shelf that this is going to be put on, so.
So, incidentally, because we've been talking about you a bit too much, so it's not about you, you know what I mean? Let's just have a look at the legs. How's the legs doing? Too bad. Aye, they're getting there, yeah. Legs look. Sorry, right. I'm just getting tired of you talking about yourself all the time, right? Sorry, carry on, right?
No, there's not a lot to it.
No,
There's
so.
not a lot to it.
No,
It's
this is
my,
cool.
My mother-in-law's wiggly worm sweetie shelf given to me, and I felt, yeah, well, I'll draw a female to symbolise myself and a male to symbolise the kiddie's father, and basically they can have a sweetie shelf that was their granny's.
Alright.
That type of thing. I never got around to finishing it because lockdown happened and lots of illness happened.
Well, that's right. Well, you could.
This is like 2019.
Yeah.
This was done, basically.
Aye, so you see with the eagle, is that an eagle? It's kind of an eagle.
Yes,
isn't
it is.
So you could see what I mean about like bullshit art, or not saying it's bullshit. I'm saying the way those programs that you satirize. What was that? Mind that nun that used to like, like on the telly.
Nun?
There was this old nun.
What was that?
And she would go, "Oh yes, it's fabulous and represents the this is the finest piece that represents the day of the Baroque fucking shite." Right?
Your parents were really bad to you,
Sweet.
weren't they? You watch nuns on the telly.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they could have been worse. Could have been like
But
mine. They sent me to school with a whole load of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So but just the kind of just art critics talk wank about stuff that isn't even there, so you could say, yes, it's a symbol. Oh, it's very, very, very prescient. Very, very. Yeah, I think it's just you basically predicted lockdown. You go, yes, it symbolises the about the foreshadowing of because we have the eagle, don't we? And look from the sky. There's
Yeah.
kind of how they talk. You could you could
And in
interpret
actual
anything, can't
fact, it was just basically a male fairy and the female fairy on the other side.
you? Yeah.
And the two of them were focused on like a Scandinavian take with the aurora in the background, and I thought, well, that's cool because that would kind of Andrew was like a big Viking type guy, so
Uh,
that would basically symbolise that.
the synergy of the
Really?
yeah.
You
Phil,
know?
it's funny to see that the Aurora to me, they look like mushrooms.
These look like mushrooms.
Aye, because that you know what I mean. It looks like the. Don't it? Hold it just for a second. That's what I'm saying. See some of the bits we've stayed at.
Uh-huh.
The bits we've stayed at, and you look at the I like modern art.
Why do you all smell like OXO cubes?
Do they?
Right, go.
Because I've got this special cream. Just
Right.
to kind of beef them up a bit. You
Yeah,
can,
beef them up a bit, right.
Right. Nah, but see the spots and stuff. That looks almost fungi-esque.
Oh,
So
right,
it's
yeah.
like, you know, so
Yeah, I can
You
get
know.
where you're seeing that. See, this is
See what
why
I mean?
it's not really a true image, because this is on tracing paper basically, isn't it? Just to get outlines onto things.
well, it's so I was gonna yeah.
No, you go.
See how
Do you want to hold this so that I can relax?
Aye, that's
Right,
fine.
cheers.
I see how folk do. Some folk, you know those things where you get the whole, you just have to trace through, and you can pretend to be an artist, like paint by numbers, right? Well, kind of like what we were talking before with this, right? Where folk have a shit opinion of you, right? Are you an artist, or are you just right? So someone that might look at this, right, and they go, that didn't know you were an artist, right? They go, that's so good. They would think that you've just outlined that out of some book. You know? But you haven't.
No.
Because it's quite,
No, because it's quite shite. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't exactly say it's a masterpiece or anything like it.
but to me it is though,
It's-
because I can't do that. That is one thing I can't do. Obviously I can do everything,
Right, okay.
but that's my Achilles, because I'm just I'm multi-talented like you, right?
Right.
So I can do everything, but
Hardcore.
just apart from drawing.
Right. Well, I can't do anything apart from drawing. No, I'm only joking.
But that's one of your.
Yes, this is one of my drawings.
Let's talk about.
One of them.
Right. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Go on. One of them, you've got many.
Yeah, well, I've done many throughout the years. I don't have
Why the
loads and loads here.
Why the fuck you no selling them?
Don't know. Would anybody want to buy them?
Aye, they're good.
Maybe I should do that.
Aye.
Maybe I should do that. My mum was the last person.
But you're
that
too
said
talented.
to
You
me.
got too much. See, when you're that talented,
And Stacia
you can
as well.
do that many things. You're like, how do you monetize this? Because there's just
It's like that's where it becomes like
too many abilities.
mayhem.
Yeah.
Basically, it becomes
Aye.
mayhem, and it's like, especially like growing up, you kind of became the prodigy child that's brain exploded because you were getting like more or less not asked what you would like to do.
You're getting told you
You're
have to
getting
do
told
everything.
what you have to do. You have to play the violin. You have to play
I
the
was a bit
guitar.
like that.
You
aye,
have to play
same
the
thing.
piano.
You must be
You have
brilliant
to
at
go-
everything.
You have to go to ballet. You have to go to your athletics. You have to swim. You have to go ski. You have to fucking have to. Fuck off! I'm about to get a joint.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what happens. You know?
Yeah. But anyway, going back to the when you tell us about when that person ripped off your work and claimed it as their own.
Oh, Mrs. Lesmere, my art teacher.
So it was a teacher that did it.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt, but just quickly, that's what I was saying about that Tom Pow guy, right? That Malcolm Ritchie guy went round to his house that I went to school with, and he was dishing all sorts of dirt. This is what you find, the folk, you know, the schizophrenics, the folk that are totally out of the system. They're the coolest folk to sometimes to talk to, like if they're actually proper artists, because they so didn't give a fuck, and they say, nah, he was it's fucking shite. His fucking work's shite. And I'm going, thanks for saying that, because it woke me up. Because I'm going, he was telling me he was ripping everyone's stuff off, and so how'd you like that? I'm you know, so, but folk have this obedience to authority where you're the teacher. Oh, he couldn't have done that. Nah, he's the teacher. they're sometimes the worst.
So I take it that like whatever teacher it is you're talking about did steal the work for themselves or whatever.
So, well, this is what I mean. I didn't know what to trust hearsay, but according to him, and he was talking with evidence to back up, saying that he like that's what he was using his job for, reading everyone's work, and it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? You go, some teachers reading all these kids writing and getting all these genius ideas because the best genius stuff comes out of kids because they're no think about it, are they? So he's kind of soaking that up, and then writing his work, and he's got published works. I'm not doubting that maybe he is a good writer. He's probably better than me, but I go blow you because I think you were a shit teacher. If you've no character, I don't care about your work. If you're a cunt, you're not going to get me interested in your work. You know, it's kind of like that thing.
Yeah, well, I think that that's just the nature of things of people.
Why is it such a surprise? That is the way it is.
That's why it's not. Nobody's doing anything wrong there. That's what art is. It's your experiences in life, who and what and where and everything that you come into contact with.
Of course,
gets relayed. And Mrs. Lesmere wasn't taking my work for herself. Mrs. Lesmere was my art teacher, who after I had been politely asked to leave the school, basically I was told by one of my mum's friends' daughters who was still at Notre Dame and who was like 2 years above me, so she was like 5th, 6th year or whatever at the time, and she was like, Tanya, you did that big oil painting where, because I was like dressed up in this period costume type thing and taking the photograph of myself and all that sort of stuff and then transferring it on and doing an oil painting, like that full body sized oil paint. And I was like, yeah. She's like, Lesmere's handed all your stuff out to like, blah 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 and blah blah blah, and these other girls in her art class. And I'm like, what's she fucking handing my stuff out for? She's told them to put it into their portfolios for their entrance to Glasgow Uni. I was like, she's fucking done what? So she basically, for her 6th, I was in 3rd year and basically got kicked out of the school. So I was just going into 3rd year at the time, so I went to St Thomas's instead of staying at Notre Dame, which was an all-girls school at that point. And this is what they did. The 6 years, that year that I was in 3rd year at Notre Dame, entered their portfolios in for assessment for their application for Glasgow Art School on the basis of my work.
That's hilarious.
Several of them.
That's crazy. So not only, so you're right, so it's quite vindictive. It's like, she probably didn't like you because you were, well, this speaks to that.
She didn't realise that Robbie Mackay was my mum's friend and lived 2 houses down from her as well. So it was like,
you found out.
Reinforced as well. She didn't realise, Lesmere didn't realise how close the contact was. Basically, my mum and Robbie Mackay have been friends since childhood, basically went to school together. And Robbie Mackay had 4 daughters and all of them went to Notre Dame. Do you know what I mean? So like, Glasgow's a fishbowl, Scotland's a fishbowl. Can you imagine how much a fishbowl an all-girls school is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a very small knit community.
So you left, and then how you? You left, and then she did that.
I left, and basically that year, her 6 years or whatever it was, 5th or 6th years that were putting in their the portfolio for their acceptance, whatever, to application to get into Glasgow Uni, used my work to top up their own work, basically.
So there's a lot going on. I didn't get too deep in this, right? There's a lot going on there, right? You could go.
I was totally abused by the system, by parents, by other pupils.
Steal your energy, steal your work, steal your ideas.
And then abuse you and tell you that you're shite and kick you out of school.
Right, I don't think I need to say any more then. There you go then. So that speaks to like the idea that, it's like that Dire Straits song, In the Gallery. On their first album. He talks about this. It's like, they decide who gets the break.
Yeah.
You know, it starts off, Harry was a bareback rider, proud and free upon a horse, and a fine coal miner for the NCB that was, and he goes into this idea that he couldn't get into the gallery, like he was the free-spirited, talented one, you know,
Yeah.
metaphorically he's a bareback rider, and you know, he did that, and he was totally rejected by,
Mhm.
and the story finishes obviously when he dies, he's gonna be in the gallery.
Mhm.
So it's like that, innit?
Yeah, basically.
But
Basically
you
is.
weren't allowed to be in the gallery. But I suppose, right? So you weren't allowed to be in the gallery, so to speak. But you cannot. It's kind of genius, right? Because all your work, everyone used you to get into the art thing. So
Uh-huh.
in a sense, you did get in
Yeah,
because it was
basically.
fucking you that did it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
do we need to say any more than that?
Exactly, and then it's
That's,
just
you know.
exactly. We don't really do it. It is what it is, but there's these things say that happen all over the time, all over the place,
It's
with
fucked up, isn't
very
it?
different, you know, in all different sets of circumstances. That it's just literally, it's like stealing somebody's soul, if that's at all
Aye.
possible. Stealing somebody's soul, and then browbeating them for the rest of their life, telling them that they're evil, when it's the actual opposite. Their souls sunshine and rainbows and
Aye.
fluffy clouds, you know, and so what does the person do? The person that's been abused in a lot of cases either inverts all of that in themselves, or they become a really evil bastard. They become exactly what they're indoctrinating them into being,
Yeah.
basically, you know. So it is true, they are basically picking and targeting you from a very, very, very young age to, you know, so the adults round about you, really, in all honesty, yes, you can say, you know, like other children to a degree as well, but mainly the adults round about you as you grow up are the ones that determine whether you're allowed to be successful or not.
Yeah. That sounds quite defeatist, but I know what you're saying though.
No, I know, I don't mean that you can't change that. All I'm
Aye.
saying is that there is those elements that happen.
Yeah.
Like Lesmore stealing my fucking folder, or basically my portfolio and handing it out, didn't change the fact that I can draw and paint and fucking,
Yeah.
you know, it's not changed any of the
Well,
things
that's
that
of
I'm
course.
capable
No,
of doing.
exactly, and of
It
course,
just points out how many people really are out there that are doing things that
on the back of someone
they're
else.
not qualified to do. They're riding
Yeah.
in other
Yes.
people's
Exactly.
fucking coattails,
Exactly,
basically.
because if you can, yeah, you can get away with that for so long, but you'll be found out. Surely, I
Mm.
was saying, the cream rises to the top. Like good people.
Can you imagine if brain surgeons or heart surgeons did that?
I know. I
Why
know.
don't I copy that guy's work?
Yeah.
Right? Just as
It's
I
fucking
can get
crazy.
it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's like that. It's not obviously that, you know,
But is life
stealing
and death?
drawings.
This is a good
Yeah.
conversation. This is a good conversation, right? Because you're basically saying, "Fucking hell, it's crazy." Because like you're talking about a life and death situation, right? With like brain surgery, someone isn't qualified,
Yeah,
and you know,
exactly.
there's no way. But you look at the art thing, you go, it kind of is life and death.
Mhm.
If you're abusing someone and taking away their talents, that person could end up fucking committing suicide. You know.
Yeah, and
So
every
it's
single
things
thing that
matter.
happens.
Things matter.
Yeah,
You
every
know.
single thing. That's what I was really trying to say. Every
Aye.
single thing, as we all know, has a reaction. Do you know what I
Aye.
mean? So, like, what's to say if that folder hadn't been handed over to me, then the following year or the year after, when it became time for me coming out of school, that I would have been going to Glasgow Art School and I would have been
Yeah.
doing what I wanted to do.
You would have
But
smashed it.
instead, I
Huh?
wasn't. I just everything ripped away from me, and I was this bad bastard apparently.
Yeah.
So I did become a bad bastard for, well, not really, for a wee
Aye.
while. I became an Ed for a wee
Aye.
while. And, you want to treat me like an idiot? That's alright, I'll act the idiot then. I'll
Yeah.
just go and get stoned with my pals.
Well, that's well. If I could just, I think, right. See, that's kind of I'd say that's kind of artistic in and of itself.
What, just going and getting stoned with my
Aye.
pals? That's exactly what
It
I did.
is. Aye. It is
They
artistic.
threw me at school, and I never, and the new school that I went to, they didn't have me on the official register for the full 3 years that I was there. I was wondering after about, you know, by the time I get to fourth year, getting into fifth year, and I'm like, I've dogged this school so often and nobody's even complained or nothing about it whatsoever. It turned out they didn't have me on the register. So literally from second year, I wasn't registered at any school whatsoever.
That's kind of that's an artistic statement in and of itself, isn't it?
So I just went and got stoned.
Quite right. It's like that hanging.
And spray painted and graffitied walls instead.
Well, there you go.
And old trains and shit like that.
But I don't know what to get on to. We could talk about a lot more. I don't know what to make this another hour, 2 hour long, because we're supposed our day. I mean, we'll just watch the film, but cause the thing is,
What one are we watching? A Thousand Blows or The Lost Boys?
Both. We'll finish watching 1,000 Blows first. Well, there you go, 1,000 Blows. That's kind of like you. You've taken 1,000 Blows and
still standing.
That's right. But that is speaks to a lot of what's involved in the artistic process or whatever, or doing anything creatively in the arty-farty world. It isn't what some people might think it is. It's quite fucked up, and you've got to be so strong-willed and being able to take all the abuse. You're crazy and like you're saying, folks stealing your ideas and claiming it. That's brutal as well. That's hurtful. I feel like you've been stabbed in the chest, like someone would rip.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about my brother, right? I'd said something, and I'm going. He's said stuff as if he's not ripping off, but acknowledging some of the things he's said, while simultaneously disrespecting me for that. So it's like that, and it's like derivative. Somebody trailblazing, and it's not even trailblazing. It's just saying obvious things,
Yeah.
And someone rips it off, and then simultaneously disses everything you say, and it's like, well, I think maybe that says I'm doing something right. Because if you're doing something good, you're gonna get hate for it.
Yeah.
It's quite sad. It's quite sad.
That's true.
So it's that kind of hanging it.
Yeah, that is true.
But aye, so you had loads of these pictures. You've
I've done all sorts of paintings. I've done ones
and they're all
like the style of like Van Gogh and all that kind of stuff as well, where they've taken hours because they're actually like long lengths of days and months, because you're like basically just texturizing and using dots to make up a picture. So it's not something like things that are scribble, like this kind of thing.
it's layered
in front of you. This is it's something that's taken a long time to do. And it's those things that really pissed me off, because those were the main things that she gave out to other people. I'm like, what? So it's like literally every bit of work that I had done of any kind of.
That is the craziest story.
Over nearly 3 years.
Yeah.
Through first, second year. So it wasn't like I was like 18 or whatever and on at school. This was like work from a first year, second year, third year, and a whole lot of get taken. Literally, like you do your first 3 years at high school before you sit your exams, or you're choosing what subjects you want to do.
Yeah.
And art, don't know whether it still is, but art was compulsory in Notre Dame, along with English and science and maths type thing, and music and PE, and basically, so they basically divvied up this child's, because I was a child at the time, when you think of the age you are in first and second year and whatnot, they divvied up this child's work to help their 6th years get into art school.
That's crazy.
That's pointing out that your six years are shite.
You're shit.
You should maybe focus on the first year instead of kicking her out, It was the same with the sports thing as well, do you know what I mean? Because I like a 98% average, which is unheard of in all sports that I did throughout the whole lot of high school.
Well, I've just finished on a positive. No, that wasn't positive, but it's funny. It's just the craziest example of plagiarism you've ever seen you ever heard of in your fucking life. Right, but the idea that you've kind of got the last laugh, because, I mean, I joked about that before. I'm no, like, a joke about being multi-talented, right? But you kind of go, it's fucking true. Why not say that? you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the goalkeeping thing, similar thing.
Mhm.
You start waking up to your own worth, and you go. A bit of me went out there that day. Like all 22 of them, all 21 of the other players saw me do that.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying the greatest at anything, but I'm like, I pretty much blasted that. Kind of much.
Mhm.
That was an achievement. I kind of, you know, and the influence went out because they're like. It's just I heard someone say ages ago, art's a leveler. Well, yeah, sports a leveler as well. It's the same kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
it's 100%.
you know, like David Miller, the cyclist, was going to go to art school, and he gave it up when he discovered cycling. He went on to get a career in pro cycling. Someone might have gone, "Oh, you've given up art to do that," and he's like, "Well, surely if you're good, if you're multi-talented, if you've got that talent, you could find success in any area." So I kind of said on one of my posts, I was like, he didn't give up art to do cycling. Cycling was his art, and what glorious pictures he painted. You know, all the athletic achievements. They're artistic statements. You know. So going back to the goalkeeping thing, I'm just relating it to your thing that I might not have achieved and played for Queens and did, but it makes you realise your ability, and you go, if you've done that, the influence has gone out, and someone has probably ripped it off. They're going, oh, that shows that the guy that didn't look like he was much, you know, on the pitch, he'll fucking show you this.
Yeah.
This animal that shows you how it's done. So all I'm saying is the same with that. You might not have gone to art school, but you did. You went to art school more than any of them, because you're the person that got them fucking there. Hello.
Multiple people get in.
That probably wouldn't have gotten. And then did they learn a few lessons when they were at art school? They probably left. They're like,
Probably one of them that caused the fire.
It probably was I.
Yeah, no, not at all. But yeah, no, that is kind of true. It's a good way of putting, looking at it, not putting it. So as not to focus at the fact that I was just completely ripped off.
Focus on the achievement.
The achievement. Like, yeah, you
That's
have
funny.
successfully got a full fucking
class
of 6
genius,
years
actually.
into Glasgow Art School.
Yeah. So let's finish with that, because we could talk about other stuff. That's 27 minutes.
That's quite cool.
That's quite good, isn't it?
That's quite good.
But I'm guessing, like, I'm not saying it's shit, but you did this in lockdown, right? So you weren't. Was this you taking it up again, almost, or you hadn't been doing it much, but you just I'll do a wee sketch, or were you doing this regular?
No, I was. This is what I'm saying. This is part of a work in progress, because I wanted the lines drawn out here on it. Obviously, it's all dark to get these lines, so that I could basically decide what colouring and painting and all the rest of it. So this is actually just a template, it's not an actual finished drawing.
Yeah.
So it's just a kind of sketch on the tracing paper, so that I can get lines on the other, and it's a wee guide for me, and then start painting and doing whatever I was going to do with the painting. Because all of this should not be as dark as it is. It's just like showing to me, right, I want a lighter bits here and kind of like petrol stained sky type thing. That type of thing.
One question on Picasso, right? Was he classically trained? Because didn't he start off doing more kind of classical, and then he just did the George Carlin thing? He took the LSD and just went crazy and did his own.
Picasso was a fucking party animal, nuts. He had all sorts of fucking females staying with him constantly. He was just a big fucking whore, basically. He was what's the word for it?
But what I'm saying is, because folk, let's not get. I don't know what.
He was a very talented guy.
I don't know what to get out of my depth,
and
right?
the type of people that
he
kind of ran around with as well.
Bohemian.
Yeah, well, right. It's usually the same, isn't it? Writers, musicians, artists, all kind of goes with the same. I mean, you can't put an album out without an artist. You need to have a sleeve for it, don't you?
Yeah.
well, You know what I mean?
But why was he good in the context of the time? Just because he'd created something new?
Yeah, because of the way in which Picasso, Van Gogh, it was the techniques that he was using in order to paint had never been used to paint before, type thing. So he developed that with Picasso. I'm not sure what he did apart from taking a lot of drugs. But
Yeah. He was quite egotistical, wasn't he? That I heard
he fucking loved his
when he got to the point. So he was successful in his lifetime, Picasso, wasn't he?
Yeah. But that's just because he was a big prostitute, drank lots of wine,
Yeah.
hung about with
Shagged loads of
writers,
whores.
hung about with Zelda Fitzgerald and people like that.
Yeah. Okay. So he used to.
He was screwing one of Coco Chanel's muses for our fashion shows. That was who Picasso was.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking dirty old man. You dirty old man. But so
I bet he was younger at that point.
But he got to the point where he was like, he was that successful, and
I'm actually just telling you the script from Paris at Midnight. There it was. I have no idea what Picasso was doing apart from taking drugs and abstract paintings type thing.
So he kind of he became that successful, right? He was recognised, or Picasso's in town and did it, and he would sign receipts at restaurants and stuff, or he would charge people. People would pay him to sign his name, and
then he'd shag other women.
Yeah.
They'd be like, Picasso's in town.
Yeah.
His big dick and his paintbrush.
Yeah.
Do me next.
Do me next. No, there is someone. Well.
That's why I said that when you came, or when you were on the phone, and you were basically just about en route coming down type thing.
Yeah.
And I was like giving it. Was you, wasn't it? Was you? Right, and I was like, the chaise longue that was in the living room and the place all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can lie down in the chaise longue and I'll paint you like one of my French girls.
Oh, there you go. Right, so there is something. Well, I'm going to get onto that, right? Because Ken, it's not about you, right? So.
Right. Okay.
What about why don't you take? I want a big life size
painting of you.
That would be cool. I've already got that. See on After Outlawking, right? I didn't like talking about myself, right? But
we
know
what
I'm saying. But Jason McCready, right?
Modesty and all that.
Jason McCready. There's a story about that. Jason McCready. Let's just talk about anything, right? Jason McCready, good artist on Outlawking, using the prosthetics crew. Didn't really blow on trumpet, but it's only like 7 folk at all those thousands of folk that ended up in that. Did that happen by accident? You can.
No, it happened deliberately. They picked you.
Yeah. Is that because I was good or because I was shy?
That's because you were good.
Thanks very much.
That's because you fitted the role.
Yeah.
And it was like, we need this dude.
No, I'm kind of just half tongue in cheek, but he did an etching. It was one of those black boards. It was like really small, and he did this etching, and it was like, you've seen it. And then he gave me it as a wee. Maybe he fancied me. There you go.
There is every possibility.
You see, we're getting to something now, because on my thing, he didn't like what I'd said about like comparing women to like vipers, you know. What would you think that was sexist? You know, if your experience of a lot of women has been shit, and I was saying, what getting with a woman is like putting your hand in a bucket of vipers. The next chances are it's got to bite you just like all the other ones. You know, it was like that's sexist as fuck. You know,
unfriended you.
Well, it was that kind of being cancelled. You know. But surely the job of an artist is to quote the greats, right? So I was quoting Muhammad Ali, right? That's what he said about the black experience, right? I was just relating it to the Monhang. I was tongue in cheek. I wasn't saying I hate women. I was saying about my experience with women.
Mhm.
So, you get what I'm saying? You can't,
Yeah.
you can't even speak nowadays. You can't even just touch on someone without someone making you out to be,
Mhm.
you know, just. Do you know what I mean? Probably did come across sexist, but.
It probably did. Maybe
But
just
who
a bad
cares?
choice of words type
Aye.
thing. But
It's playing with
It's-
words, though, isn't it?
yeah.
It's being experimental, just having a laugh, and, you know.
It's
no
okay,
big
well,
deal.
There's plenty of women going around fucking stating men are thick as fuck.
Exactly.
Absolute dicks.
Exactly.
Fucking.
So what's the big
Want
deal?
to take their Tampax out and all that.
Ah.
you know what I mean? Get with the
Ah.
fucking programme. I mean, we're already aware of the fact that, you know, women obviously are the superior of the species.
Wow, here we go.
Because men cannot produce life, and our brain actually is it actually does have more brain cells, because our body functions to produce life. We have to have that multitasking there. It's a physical impossibility
Aye.
for a man to multitask. He has to do
Aye,
he
that's
can
true.
do one
That's
thing
true.
after the other very quickly and very powerfully, so
That's not
but he
bad.
can't do
It's not better or worse, though.
multitude of
It's not
things
better
at the
or
same
worse.
time.
It's just different. Aye, if you
Therefore,
want to get the, it's not better or worse.
therefore, it makes women able to manage and plan out. Totally put me off track there. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you get talked over.
Aye.
It's just one of those things when somebody doesn't like
Oh,
what
you
you're
never.
saying.
Nah.
That doesn't
You never
like
do
when
that.
you're saying,
Aye,
you
you
just
never
gets
do
louder
that, do
and
you?
louder and louder
never-
and talk over you. You see, that's
You
it.
never
It's a
talk over me,
tactic.
do you?
It's a
You never.
tactic.
You never talk over
I've
me.
got 3 brothers and a father, believe me.
Well, that's
and,
your
and,
problem.
And the majority, I know it was
That's
my problem,
fair.
but they all get slapped into line. Did you notice that?
Aye.
Yes. So I'm not saying one's better than the other or
Aye,
anything like that.
just
I'm
different.
just saying that it is a physiological fact. Women have more brain cells than men. Women are more resilient to life than men. Women are better organisers than men. Wouldn't you say that women are fucking stronger than men? Not as a whole.
That's quite. That's
Do you know
quite.
what I mean?
That's
But
quite.
that is that is the facts that are there.
Well, don't know. Where's your proof? What research have you got to back that up?
It's basic biology and science.
Mm.
It's common knowledge.
Well, men are stronger. That's
Yeah, they are.
physically
100%.
stronger.
And all women do need men. It's 100. This isn't about,
Yeah.
you know, women do need to have men here on the planet.
No, women do
we
consistently.
would not survive
I know
without
it.
them.
I know it is true. Like at secondary, like they say that women consistently outperform in a
Yeah.
lot of these subjects. They are more. Anyway, let's not get into all this shit. But I'm just saying, like, because we could see we
But
could.
not to get into all this shit, because it's proven the point that women are superior
No, as
to
if
men.
no, just
We
because it
don't
does
want-
my heat
We
in.
don't want to
Just,
talk about
just Kent. Oh, here's one for you, right?
it. Right, well,
Kent, why did they call? And didn't interrupt me, right?
it's you that talks over me, not the other way round.
So, Ken, why they call Eve? Because all women are evil, right? See, just simple truth.
Ken, how like,
Ken, no, you see,
Ken-
Ken, see,
Ken, how
you had to interrupt there,
Ken,
right?
how the
So-
Adam and Eve story is total
Nah,
bullshit.
but let me
because
let
all
me, you have to let
children
me
and all
say mine
humans
first,
come
though.
from women.
Yeah, but okay, but I've not done mine yet, right? So, Adam, right? See, it's like you have to have self control here, and
Right,
you have
okay.
to take this, right?
Right.
And then you can say whatever you want to say,
Right,
right?
go.
Whatever bullshit you want to say.
Bullshit, my shit's no bullshit. This shit that you're
It's
talking
just a
bullshit.
different perspective.
It's not a
It
different
is. It's
perspective.
all perspective.
This is
There no
religious
truth.
bullshit
There's
that
no
you're
truth.
hitting out with here. I'm
No, it's
hitting out with
literature.
science.
No, it's literature.
No,
it's
it's
not
religious
It's just
bullshit.
some of the writing is
It is religious bullshit.
No,
it's
all,
religious
it's all
bullshit.
allegory
This is-
and metaphor, and it's good literature. The Bible. Something.
Right.
No, that I've read it. I could just say
You
that.
have. You've got
No,
fucking
I've
huge Bible.
I've
Of
not
course
read
you
it.
have.
No, I've not read
I've
it.
not read the Bible,
No,
but
I
I'm
just-
vividly aware of the fact that it's a pile of piss. Right.
Well,
so,
all I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, right, the Adam would have done perfectly well if I didn't fucking listen to Eve, right? Because just it all went tits up after that. So if she
what
had,
did he listen to Eve for?
bite the apple, and then he bit it, and then it all went tits up if he just listened to God, you know. So, you see what I mean?
How did it go tits up for him?
Well, it did. That's the story. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what happened, didn't it?
That is why I'm saying it's complete and utter bullshit, right? Because,
But
what was it God
interpretation,
did? God
like all
took a
artists
rib.
and-
God took a rib from Adam and made Eve. No, he fucking didn't, because all human beings are female to start with. So God would have had to take a rib from Eve to
That was God that
create,
fucked up.
create Adam.
God fucked up.
If you want to go with real scientific, physiological facts about the human race. Or you could listen to the Bible bashing crap stories that are made up to suit the masculine
perspective.
sector of the human race.
Yeah,
Yes,
but you
on
see what I
go.
mean? There is.
Carry on.
See what I'm saying? It's all interpretation because there's biological truth.
No, there fucking
and that
isn't.
is true, but
You're trying to tell me that Adam and Eve were the first people on the planet.
Right story.
That's
but
not
I'm
true.
saying with stories,
We all came from wee cell amoebas in the sea.
There is.
Originally, that's
I'm
where
just,
we come from.
Aye, but I'm saying there's truth. There's truth in, like, that's why folk write books. There is truth in allegory and metaphor and symbolism. There's truth in that. It's just a different truth.
One that's made up.
Made up.
I'm all for facts though. Like I like things to make logical sense. I like them to be factual.
Yeah.
I'm. It's like no. It's kind of like the priest that day. I went downstairs for a fag. Joshua was in the children's cancer unit. Didn't have cancer. He had another illness going on, but he basically was in the cancer unit. He was quite unwell, and I went down the stair to have a cigarette. It's he came back up, and there was a priest sitting in Joshua's room to give him his last rites. I fucking nearly threw the guy out a double glazed window. I was like, get yourself to fuck. Nobody's getting last rites here, son.
Well, here's the thing, right? See, I'm right. When I did that thing, I was in the car, and I just did a wee spiel, talking about some of those things, because I've watched some of these YouTubers, and some of them get a wee bit with their biblical shit here and there, and I go, well, I think this guy's all right. So I listen to it and I go, oh, there's a wee bit of truth in that, and I just date and just to get me.
They can tell good stories, but that's exactly what they are, stories.
But what I'm saying
they're not
is,
facts. They're not documenting anything. They're making things up. To suit a narrative.
But there's certain. What I'm saying is, there's certain kind of wee wisdoms and stuff in some of the Bible stories, like the Daniel and the Lion's Den and all that stuff. There is
the Daniels is in the lions, like the lions come for Yoka, the Daniels is come for Springburn. They've been fighting forever.
Well, there you go.
But that's because they're all fucking mental.
Yeah. But anyway, let's not go there, right? Well, that's no, but Ned's right. At the end of Ned's, right, he walks through the lion. That's like Daniel and Lion's Den. It's like he's basically going.
That's what they were trying to symbolise there. The Daniels is in the lions.
Well, there you go. Maybe
that's what they were doing.
Stuff like, but anyway. But what I was saying is, all I was saying about the thing about the priest thing, but that's what I'm saying about art and like all the films. They just quote bits from here and there and made their wee new wee spin on it. That's what
we need to get better pillows. These pillows are shit. I need to get some memory foam ones. Get you a big microphone on the desk, right? You can do these.
We'll start a podcast.
That's exactly what we should do.
We should do. But anyway, carrying on with the point about the
Daniels is in the lines.
No, forget that. No, just you saying about the priest thing. This is what I'm saying about, right? See some of the teaching, which I was already doing anyway, but after some of these the acting training and all that, and that, right, the vibe of it was like throwing out the box, like creating a new box, taking something and just ripping it off and going, nah, no ripping it off, but ripping it up. Like you just when you were saying about the priest thing, I was going, I've created the best sermon in the history of Dumfries, and stuff like that, and just having fun with it. Not taking it too seriously, but just doing it for a laugh. So You were saying all the Church of Scotland's are all closing down there.
Yeah, it's just something that I've like noticed is happening.
I'm
Like,
noticing
I'm
as
like
well.
like everywhere I go, there's a church either sitting all boarded up, and it's no like Catholic church, it's all Church of Scotland.
Yeah.
And you know, some in England as well. There you go. The wee chairs I've got here is for Church of England. Church that get bought and made into a house, basically. That's what people are doing. They're buying them up and making them into flats and making them into houses. And for some reason, the Protestant sector of Christianity is getting rid of all their property, getting rid of all their houses, as if they've joined forces with somebody else and they don't need them anymore. Maybe they've joined the Muslims.
So it's no, it could be like so let's not go too deep, but we're talking about like I didn't understand. I was brought up in kind of strict religious, strictish religious cult really. But the idea that it's all bullshit at the end of the day really is the point, right? That you've got all these different churches. It's Church of Scotland, but there's a million different denominations, and so going to what you're saying there, are the churches going, right? Get with the winning team, right? That like we've branched off and become Presbyterian, but they're going. Well, there's not enough numbers, right? We have to
join forces.
Skip to the next. So they've fucked themselves by branching off. They should have, because they see this coming, that folk are totally rejecting all that, so they should have stuck together. So what I'm saying is, are they joining forces? Are they getting out and going? Are they getting out completely? Like the priests will have to get a new career or retiring. Is it just when they get to retirement age, no one new's coming in? Probably just that, innit? No young people want to become ministers, so the older ones are dying or retiring.
Maybe within the Church of Scotland, yeah, or within the Protestant church, but that is definitely not happening in the Catholic Church at all whatsoever.
Well, the Catholic Church is a force,
even if we go to this like the not the school that we were talking about there that I get kicked out of, they started a long time ago taking in Muslim girls because there was no set Muslim girls' schools in Scotland for Muslim girls to go to. So the Muslims have basically joined forces with the Catholics as respect that, respect to that, and now with Notre Dame, that was an all girls school, is a communal school now where there's boys and girls going to it. Do you know what I mean? Which is mental to me, but it is. Do you know what I mean? So, and the majority of boys that are there are quite blatantly Muslim, you know, and this is why they're trying to segregate off from going to non-denominational schools, or what was the Protestant school or whatever you would call, or the one that everybody else goes to. So it's like the elite of the Muslims are like, no, we don't want that rough and tumble to do it. And that's what I'm saying, it's coming from that sector of the Protestant faith that everything seems to be crumbling with the schools. The Muslim communities in Glasgow are transferring their kids into Catholic schools.
So is that what's happening?
Because
as I
they
say,
are
with
stricter in certain ways.
With the loss of all the Church of Scotland churches closing down, are they all folk going to Catholicism? Is that what's happening?
I think there's just a falling away from,
because that's where the money is.
There's probably that in it as well. But I think there's an actual falling away, because even like the church that your family was with, when I read up into them, they are actually Catholic. They're actually so close to the bone. Maybe, describing themselves in a different name, but they
believe in the literal.
But they are basically Catholic. or they're the closest Protestants to Catholic that you're going to get.
Jesus has got to come back. So what is it basically? Jesus has got to come back. They believe in the resurrection, and Jesus has got to come back because he talked about the world tomorrow. The lion and the lamb will be able to coexist, and everything will be peaceful. And they'll when you die, whatever it is.
When you die, you're dead. Right, that's the reality of it. Yeah. When you die, you're dead. The rest of this was just a whole pile of piss. I just think that there's a definite something going on, that it's either a depletion in the population, or it just simply is that the Church of Scotland, the Church of England, are dissolving and amalgamating into somebody else. But who else they're amalgamating into, I don't know. It could be Muslims, it could be fucking Jews, it could be anything, I don't know. We'd need to do research into that, but it is very, very odd that everywhere I go, and let's face it, we've been from like Cornwall all the way up the fucking country, and we keep seeing Church of Scotland, Church of England, and the buildings are shut down.
So Bill is into I was listening to you, by the way. I was
yeah.
No, I was listening.
Yeah, he's like, the minute I say this about Bill, she's going to realise I haven't listened to a damn thing she said there. I've just let her babble on.
No, you were saying.
The white noise. Well, I know you could hear, but there's a difference between hearing and listening.
No, I was listening.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right,
what was that I just said?
It's all bullshit, anyway.
What was that I just said?
It's all bullshit, anyway.
What was that I just said?
No, you were talking about the churches and the... I was listening.
He wasn't listening. He's talking lots of rubbish.
No,
we know that he wasn't listening, and he's trying to like back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the Protestants and the Catholics and blah blah blah. It's all bullshit anyway. So.
Yeah.
I was getting an impression as to what you were saying.
That's not what I was saying, but no.
But anyway, so
fuck all I do with Catholics.
Ken, what I mean, right? Ken how Bill likes Rangers, right?
Oh God.
So he must be. Ken Ali McCoy. No, Ken. He likes.
Yeah, I do know Ali McCoy stuff.
Right. We'll come back to that, right? But the Shagger for the Shire.
Aye, big coisty man.
Fucking
big
cunt.
slut.
Yeah.
I don't know how Alison put up with him as long as she is. Honest to fuck.
Anyway.
Alison used to come out with us. Used to go to dancing together.
Well, that's the thing. Well, I could talk about shitloads with that. Football's a religion, right? Folk look up to these. This is what I'm talking about with, like, we studied this, and it's not even studying, it's just obvious anyway, right? That there's truth in metaphor and I mean, pretty much football's a religion, footballers are gods, that's why these women, money is your god, women get attracted to them because they think they're special, and they are special on a certain level. But are they? Right.
See that statement? The footballers are I'm like, I fucking know they're special. They're not exactly known to be the brightest sparks in the bunch. Do you know
they're good at one thing.
They're like,
right, so I'm better than most of them because they're just fucking good at one thing. I'm good at multiplying. I'm a fucking goalkeeping superhero. And then some. These guys, all they do is shag. If you're, shag, play football, spend all that exorbitant money from the exorbitant ticket prices, and shouldn't be paid what they're paid, right? They're just, it's like, and if you're lucky like Alan McCoy, so you get in a film and you try a wee shot acting, do a bit of commentary. Other than that, and you cheat on your wife. What else do you do?
Alan McCoy is great at acting. He's fucking multiple fucking one night stand.
Yeah.
He's fucking brilliant at acting.
Yeah.
Alison stayed
Pretend that he's
Alison stayed with him for a long fucking time. He used to cut about with the footballer, the guy that I fucking went out with, because both of them are free school bride, Archie McNairn.
So you went out with Archie.
What's
his name?
McNairn. I went out
Never
with.
heard of him.
I know you've he played for Anne Bank. So. Yeah,
you could at least fucking upgraded to a Premier League footballer.
Archie, no.
I don't know.
Why?
Well, you would have been in the big time, do you know?
Well, I already did. A guy that played for Celtic,
Oh, right, okay.
I went for a guy that got transferred for Celtic down south. Then he used to drive up here. or not drive. We used to fly up here every Friday and go. It's dancing and all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh well.
Shit.
No, you showing off now. Aye, but anyway, about the
And he was black.
was it?
Mm.
Oh, I like a nice black man.
Oh no, you do. I see you.
You actually believe that?
No, I can just see you dribbling every time you see one,
Not at all.
especially outside. You
No.
Ah, you do.
No, I've got this reverse snobbery. I'm like, I kind of feel like, oh fuck, there's Tupac, or whatever, and you go, fuck, I'm a bit intimidated because I've got this inferiority complex that black men are genetically superior.
But they're not. They're actually genetically inferior.
Well, let's not go there, but
it's true. They're more susceptible to a lot of different illnesses and
yeah, but you could say that's environmental because all the abuse and racism.
It's not to do with environment. It's to do with the actual DNA. Because there's loads of things that we can take as white people.
You're racist.
No, I'm not. There's loads of things that I can't be racist. I've got that many fucking different shit running through my vein. I need to fight for the whole world. So I don't get a choice.
Yeah.
But no, it is very, very true. There's lots, not all aspects, but there's certain fucking major things in the human system that unfortunately, if you fall into like an Asian or African DNA background, that you like they can't take certain cancer drugs and certain other things because it has a really bad adverse effect.
Aye.
On their,
there's certain genetic, like they're more susceptible. Certain African.
They're prone to sickle cell, which is a deformation in the blood cells in the body, which causes a hell of a lot. And it's really, really common. So I'm not saying things to be racist. I'm saying things that are a fact, and it is a fact that on average, when you look at the two populations or races, we're all the same fucking race. It's called human. But anyway. Between the different sectors of the world, Northern and Western Europe, and the Eastern makeup seems to be, and I don't know, maybe it's been out in the extremities of exactly what you're saying. It's weather and other things within where they by nature are coming from. Or living at this point in time in the planet, because I don't think we all lived in the places that we live now.
But certain African, not African American, but certain black communities, I can't think of the part of the world, but are more susceptible to way more susceptible to type 2 and but then you look at the athletes and you go, look at all like black sprinters, mostly black.
Well,
I mean, they're superior at that. And boxing and all that.
Diet, the 2 or 3 superior diets on the planet is the Ethiopian diet, right? And that's not because of any droughts and lack of food. What they actually eat on a day-to-day basis is so nutritious and pure. Like, so great health, and all the rest of it. Iceland, so the Scandinavians again, Iceland and Italy, the mountainous people of Italy. Those 3 diets and those 3 places on the planet, people live the longest. People are living into like 140.
Mediterranean diet. Folk that like athletes that this is nearly an hour. We're at 58 minutes 46, so we'll just aim for an hour, right? But how did we start for the art and get onto that? But anyways, good. But
well, food is an art, isn't it?
Well, it's like that thing in 6 Feet Under where Claire, right? They're just teenagers and Claire's ends up going on to be an artist, right? She takes the magic mushrooms and they're tripping in her mum's house and they're like, and she's going, they're tripping and she's going, oh my god, everything we do becomes a work of art, Yeah, but it's kind of like that. That's it's like if you do a post on your Facebook, make an effort with it. If you walk down the
I
street,
always make an effort.
thank you. Well, that's a good way to finish, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. This has been.
This is your life.
Yeah, and we've only scratched the
David and
surface.
T.
Yeah. Tune in for the next episode.
Hey.
Thank you. Right, where's my cup of tea? Women, get back to that kitchen.
Excuse me, have you polished my arse yet?
Working on it.
Somebody just said what?
Right.